Just like many of you, I've been working from home for the last 1.5 years. And working from home means you're having conference calls every day. I've been using the Apple AirPods Pro for my conference calls, and don't get me wrong, Apple AirPods Pro are great earphones. They're small, they're light, they're compact, they have superior noise cancelling, and they've been great. But I had a problem. After using it for almost a year, every day, I started to have ear infections, and I started to then need to switch out of my earphones, and I started using my old Bowers & Wilkins PX headphones for my conference calls. But the problem with the headphones is that it's too big, it's heavy, and your whole ear gets really hot after a while. So I decided that I should try something else. And during the quarantine, which I did a few weeks ago, click on the top pop-up banner to check the video out. During that quarantine, what happened was that I decided to buy myself an OpenMove bone conducting headphones. It was actually something that my wife was looking at, and I was a little bit skeptical at first. I'm like, how the hell would this work well? But then I bought it anyway because I was, bored to death in quarantine and needed something to try and use apart from my AirPods Pro. So I bought it, I tried it, it was pretty good. When I came home, I gave it to my wife liked it, she took it, and I thought maybe I should buy another one for myself. And why should I buy the same thing? So I decided to buy something else. And then I bought the OpenComm, which is the one with a little boom mic here, or whatever you call this. It basically has a little mic extending out from the earphones. And I bought this because first I wanted to know if this mic is any good, because it's actually a noise cancelling microphone. Plus, is it really worth double the price? If you look at the website and you compare the specs side by side, both of them seem to tout the same 7th generation technology. They seem to have the same Bluetooth 5.0. They seem to have the same IP resistance rating. And so the only additional thing, or rather two things that are different, is the titanium band, which I don't quite understand yet, but maybe we'll get to that a bit later. And the other thing is the additional noise cancelling microphone. So in my mind is this additional microphone really worth another almost $100, of money, Sing dollars, by the way. So I decided to put them to the test. Obviously, the OpenComm, being a premium product for twice the price, you would probably expect a little bit more out of the box. Now, if you look at the OpenMove, the one without the microphone, it's actually a box just like this. You have your headphones in there, and there's a little carrying pouch. It's a soft pouch, and a USB-C cable, and some instruction manuals, and I think a pair of earplugs in there. There's nothing much else in the box. So for what it is worth, like $100 Sing dollars or so, I think it's fair for its packaging. So for something that's about $200, the OpenComm, you might expect a little bit more, and indeed there is a little bit more. It does come in a very nice case like this, and you have your little molded area inside where you can put your headphones, and you can take it out, and it protects it pretty well. It's a little bit bulky for what it does, but I think that's fine. It's sometimes good to have a case when you need it, and so a case like this, it's really nice to be molded, and there's a little pouch here for you to put your cables and stuff like that, which I'll get to later. You do need that cable. And so for extra money, you do get a carrying case, but I think that's not the whole point. The important part about the OpenComm is still what's in this thing, and let's get to that. Now let's start with the contact area. If you look closely at both of them, and if you actually have both of them side by side, you realize that the OpenComm, the one with the microphone, has a slightly smaller contact area than the OpenMove. And I think this is one of the reasons why there's a slight difference in sound quality, which I'll talk about later. But this slightly smaller contact area also makes a difference in comfort. It does feel that the OpenComm is slightly more comfortable because this is slightly smaller. Plus, I think that titanium band thing that it's talking about on the website spec is that this whole band around here has a titanium thing, and and it makes it, the tension feels a little bit more gentle than the OpenMove. It feels a little bit more harsh on this one, and that, you know, puts more pressure. And I think also because of the larger contact area, you might need more pressure to hold it there. So I don't know how that works. Obviously, I'm not the product designer, but that's one of the differences on this thing. Now, of course, the other difference would be that the OpenComm actually has a microphone that comes out. So I'm going to put it on right now, just so you can see how it looks. Now, obviously, you might look like an idiot going around like this, and you might think, oh yeah, this microphone articulates. So it can go from here, this is the maximum down, and it can go all the way up and back. Now, you may think, yeah, we can keep it, but actually answer is no, you can't really keep it, especially for guys. It looks kind of weird with this thing in your hair. If you're a girl and have a long hair, it covers the thing perfectly fine. If that's what you want, then this is something you can consider. But for me, I don't put it up because I look like an idiot anyway. I leave it down and I go around like this. I look like a food delivery guy, but who the hell cares? I don't care. So I do go out like this. I go cycling. You know, I go to malls. I just keep it on because I'm listening to my podcast or whatever. I think it's really nice. And nobody ever commented like, you look like an idiot with a mic. So I don't care. So other than that, I think that's where the differences end. There's another one last difference. I'm not going to talk about it first. Let's talk about the similarities. Now, both of them have 3 buttons, and they both have a volume up and down button. The volume up button doubles as the power on button, and if you power on and keep that button held down, it goes into pairing mode, and you're going to need that more often because it seems like they're both the same. They do not seem to connect to 2 devices simultaneously. And they do not easily switch between paired devices. You kind of have to unpair the first device or the connected device before it wants to connect to the next one, which is a little annoying at times because I do switch between my computer and my phone to use both devices, you know, when I'm out or at work. So holding down that power on button is the way you get into pairing mode so that you can pair the devices that you want and prevent that automatic connection. And then there's obviously a button on the side, and on the OpenComm, which is the one on the mic, the button is actually on this side, on my right side, okay? And the OpenMove is on the left side, on this side. And this button will be the one that you use to answer your calls or to, you know, play or stop whatever you're listening to. So that's the action button. And of course, there's one last thing. There's a charging port. Now on the OpenComm, the charging port is a USB-C charging port with a rubber grommet. The rubber grommet obviously is meant for some kind of water resistance, and I like it that way. I like that it's using a generic USB-C port. I can go anywhere as long as it's a USB-C thing, I can charge it, and I only have to carry a USB-C cable for, you know, all my other things as well. But OpenComm is using some kind of magnetic charging cable, and it's not only magnetic, it attaches at a weird angle. Like it attaches this way, where, you know, it wants to maintain a straight cable, but because of the magnetic strength, you know, it gets knocked off easily at an angle like this, and you can't really wear it while charging. The weird thing is that when you plug it in and, you know, while using it, it actually disconnects for some reason. So it doesn't charge while in use. And that's the only thing that annoys me. Plus, having a proprietary cable really annoys me because the other end of this cable is actually a USB-A plug. And that means that for me to use it with my MacBook Pro, I have to carry a USB-C to USB-A adapter just to charge it. And that's why that little case and that pocket here is starting to become useful, because then I carry this USB-C to USB-A adapter. This is from a brand called Ugreen, it's a Chinese brand, but they make pretty good stuff. And I have a couple of these. They're very inexpensive, but it's, you know, it's kind of annoying that I have to carry a charging cable with an adapter with me wherever I go with this pair of headphones. So that's the only thing that I think I don't like about this. And as you watch the video, you realize that that's where the negative bits of this thing ends. The rest of the video is generally positive for the OpenComm. After listening to my introduction of this product and looking at the specs on the website, you might be wondering, is this exactly the same thing as this? From the specs, it seems so, but they're not. And it's very obvious from a sound test. And I know many of you can't do the sound test. That's why I'm here doing this review for you. The OpenComm, the one with the microphone, has a brighter and clearer sound signature. And that might come as a surprise. It was surprising to me, and I thought it was me only. I let my wife try it, and the moment she put it on, she's like, oh, it's clearer. It is clearer. I don't know if it's a function of the size of the contact area or the function of the way the titanium band works, but whatever it is, it seems like the OpenComm was geared towards a different use case or different market segment from the OpenMove. Now, the OpenMove seems to be a little bit more heavy on the bass side, but obviously you can't do much with this technology. Like, there's only that much bass you can put out without like knocking my skull off. I would love to let you hear it, but there's no easy way for me to record this and let you play it back in any way authentically with whatever audio reproduction source you have, because you gotta put this on and hear it for yourself. It works very different. It's very unique technology. So I've used it for almost a week or two now, and I've used it every day. Frankly, I've worn it all day during work. I've also worn it on weekends when I'm listening to podcasts. I've worn it when I go out cycling and stuff like that, when I'm at the malls, whatever. I put this on, and it's been very comfortable. The clarity is there. And if you watch my video where I bought a pair of cheap Chinese knockoff thing, they are not bone conducting headphones, and there's a great difference between a bone conducting thing versus something that's actually piping sound into your ear. And that difference is when you're in a noisy environment, the bone conducting thing works better. Now, if you have something that's just simply piping sound into your ear, and when the ambient noise gets really loud, that ambient noise basically floods out that noise that's being piped into your ear. So having bone conducting really helps in that department. Now, obviously, if you say, if you have this like noise canceling thing, you put over your ears, cover everything up, definitely that's going to be better. But that's not something that you want all the time. Like I said, ear infection, discomfort, weight, whatever it is, I think those are things that you really have to consider, especially if you have something on all day, every day. You may not want to have it on, you may not want like a big thing for prolonged time. So the last part about this would be the microphone quality. Now, in my previous video, I've also done a mic test between a cheap Chinese thing, which has oddly stereo microphone but really crappy mic quality, and the OpenMove. Now, with the OpenComm and a microphone that actually extends out like this, definitely we're expecting much better mic quality, which you'll hear in a minute. Now, there's a little mic pickup here in the front, where obviously is the one that's going to be near to your mouth, and that will be the voice pickup, and a little mic actually on the side here, which I believe is the environment mic, where it picks up the environment sound and tries to do some sort of noise cancelling. So this is a noise cancelling microphone, and it's going to be really helpful in a noisy environment. But here I'm going to test it in my house. It's going to be relatively quiet, but let's just see what the difference is in audio production. This is a recording made with the OpenComm. Test 1, 2, 3. The OpenComm has a noise cancelling microphone that's closer to your mouth and will hopefully reduce any environment noise as you use them in a noisy environment. This is an audio recording made with the OpenMove. The OpenMove does not have a mic that is near to the mouth, but it still has pretty decent audio quality. Okay, so obviously there's some difference, but the difference is not pronounced between the OpenComm and the OpenMove. The OpenComm having this noise cancelling thing, it's going to be more obvious and more useful, especially if you're in a noisier environment. And for those of you who do conf calls all day and you have colleagues on the other end with crappy microphones, you know how bad it is. And it can be really difficult to hear somebody who has a bad microphone. So I think you got to do yourself a favor, get headphones with good microphone so that you can communicate clearly, people can hear you clearly, and they don't have to ask you to like repeat yourself again and again. And so here comes the conclusion. Which one should you buy? Is the OpenComm really worth twice the amount of money? And in my opinion, yes. I think for for what it's worth, some 200 Sing dollars, this is definitely very well worth the money, especially if you're using it for conference calls, and which I think that's the reason why you're watching my video. The general price range for like noise cancelling headphones and stuff like that are about $300-400 Sing dollars range, and I think that was the amount of money I was prepared to spend, and I prepared to spend this money just because I wanted something more comfortable to do long hours of conference calls. And after having tried the OpenMove and now tried the OpenComm, I can tell you confidently that, by the way, this video is not sponsored by anyone. I bought this with my own money. I can tell you confidently that you should go out and get one of these for conference calls. There's no other thing like it that is not like in your ear, over your ear, making your ear hot and itchy or whatever. It's really, really comfortable, and having a great mic pickup is definitely something you must have when you're doing conference calls. And the amount of comfort I have from this is really huge. Like, I can wear it day in, day out, every day, and I don't have any trouble at all with this. So with that, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video.